Hey guys, Stephen Cox here. And welcome to the live stream. Today we're going to be learning how to play a major scale a couple of different ways. So one way is going to be using one position where we assign our fingers to a fret and stay in that one spot. And the other way we're going to do it is we're going to play a major scale on one string. So for this lesson, we're going to be using the G major scale for both of these parts of the lesson. So the first thing we want to do is find G on our U bass. So G is the 3rd fret on the E string, and there's another one on the 5th fret of the D string. But we're going to start on the 3rd fret on the E string. E is in every. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play that note with our middle finger. And the reason why we're playing that note with our middle finger is because within this pattern, the highest fret that we have is the 5th fret, and the lowest fret that we have is the 2nd fret. So our pointer finger is going to get all the 2nd frets. Our middle finger is going to get any 3rd fret that we have in the scale. Our ring finger will get the 4th frets in the scale if we have a 4th fret. And then our pinky will get the 5th fret notes. Okay, so we're assigning each one of those fingers to those frets. So let's start with G. It says 3rd fret on the E string with our middle finger. So now we're going to do 5th fret on the E string with our pinky, and that note is an A. So now we're going to go up to the 2nd fret on the A string. That note is a B. We're going to play 3rd fret on the A string. That note's a C. Now we're going to play 5th note on the A string, and we're going to use our pinky for all the 5th frets again. And that note's a D. Now we're going to use our pointer finger or index finger to play the 2nd fret on the D string. And then if we keep this one finger per fret, our ring finger will go to the 4th fret of the D string. And our last note will be the pinky on the 5th fret on the D string. So all those fingers, once again, were on the fretting hand. So I'm going to go through them one more time. Middle finger, 3rd fret, E string. Pinky, 5th fret, E string. Pointer finger, 2nd fret, A string. Middle finger, 3rd fret, A string. Pinky, 5th fret, A string. Index or pointer finger, 2nd fret on the D string. Ring finger on 4th fret of the D string. And last but not least, our pinky on the 5th fret of the D string. So the cool thing about what we just did is that we're staying in one position, and this position is movable, which means whatever note that we start on with our middle finger, if we use the same set of fingers, the same number of frets apart. So like if we were on the 3rd fret here and our next note was on the 5th fret, that's 2 frets away from the first note. So if we were to start on the 7th fret, our next note of a different major scale would be 2 frets away, which would be the 9th fret. And once again, we assign our fingers to a different spot. But this is just a pattern that you can move around and play anywhere. So here's G major. If you start with your middle finger on the 5th fret, so it's assigning your fingers 4, 5, 6, and 7th frets. And you're using the same finger combination, the same distance away from each note. And that's going to be the A major scale. If we moved it up to the 7th fret, so once again, that's assigning our pointer finger this time to the 6th fret. Our middle finger gets all the 7th fret notes. Our ring finger would get all the 8th fret notes, and our pinky would get all the 9th fret notes. Then then now we're playing the key of B major. So if we wanted to take that pattern and move it to a different string, we could still use this pattern. So on the A string, if we start on the 3rd fret, that note would be a C. And we wouldn't have to change our finger position at all. The only thing that would change there is which string we're playing on. We'd start on the A string instead of the E string. Then we'd move up to the D string to play the next 3 notes. And then after that, we'd play the last 3 notes on the G string. So if you have any questions about this, just chime in and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the other way to play the major scale. The other way is to play it all on one string. All right, looks like nobody's got any questions, so we'll just move on to that way of playing it. So we're going to start on G again. That's the 3rd fret of the E string. And this time, our major scale is going to look like this. Let me just demonstrate it real quick. So we're getting pretty high up on the neck. But basically, we're staying all on the E string. And we're having to reach way up when we get up here. So this way of playing it is really just to understand the way the major scale works with the notes compared to each other on one string. You can kind of see this linear approach of how it's just getting higher up fret-wise. Whereas with the other pattern, it's the same notes, but you're playing a different version of some of the notes so that you get on a different string. So yeah, 7th fret is the same as the 2nd fret on the A string. So 7th fret on the E, 2nd fret on the A string, they're the same note. Okay, so this just allows us to see how the notes are spaced out compared to each other. So let's go through it. We're going to start on the 3rd fret, and then we're going to move up to the 5th fret. So this motion from here to here, where we skipped over 1 fret, that's called a whole step. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing from this note to the next note. We're going to do another whole step where we skip over a fret. So far we've got whole step, another whole step. Now we're going to do what's called a half step. And you got it, a half step is half of that distance. It's just 1 fret away instead of skipping over anything. So far we've got whole step, then a half step. Let's see if the U bass won't buzz. So if you want the fret numbers, that's 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, and then 8th fret. Now we'll keep going. We go up from the 8th fret to the 10th fret. So that's another whole step. So we've got whole step, half step, whole step. Now we're going to do another whole step to get to the 12th fret. And even 1 more whole step after that. So we're on the 14th fret now. And then now we can move all the way to the 15th fret. So that last little motion was a half step. So we've got whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And if you just want the fret numbers, this is confusing, but you still want to be able to play the scale, that's 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret, 14th fret, and last but not least, the 15th fret. All right. So that's 2 ways that you can play the major scale on the U bass. So as you can tell, it's storming over here. So I'm probably going to go ahead and get off the computer in case there's some lightning. But thank you for tuning in. And please check out the other videos. If you want to know how we figured out how to do those positions, there's a really good warm-up video that I'll probably link up above. And you can just click on that to get used to playing in one position on the U bass where you're just doing one finger per fret. And that'll warm you up and get you ready to play these scales. I'll come at you with another video about minor scales coming soon, but please feel free to check out the other videos while you're here. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.